time for the visit with the person of high strangeness. A few weeks ago, we shared a show with you where we celebrated Kavanza with you, and at that time I had one of the friends with me, and we had agreed that she would come and share her personal story with you. We've been doing these shows almost a year now, and what happens is I always get calls telling me how much people appreciate the personal stories of the guests and the friends, and the even we have done some with the staff, and so I just want to accommodate you again, and I'm going to introduce you to my good friend Matisse. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank
And
you.
today you're going to share some personal stories with us as far as your spiritual growth concerns.
I'm still growing.
That's a never-ending story. That's what we should have named it, a never-ending story.
Yeah, well, you're right. That would have been wonderful.
It is. I had a guest one time. His name was Jim Clarkson, and we talked about the universe and all the planets and the trillions and trillions of things. And every time we think we got something figured out, here comes the next jump. And you live in
I live on Bainbridge Island.
Bridge Island now.
Yes.
So we just caught you in time before y'all got rained out and snowed under. Wonderful.
I don't think we're going to get rained out and snowed under.
You don't?
No.
Did you live here last year? Yes.
Yes, I did.
We were pretty under at my house, yeah. So.
I know, but I'm thinking positive.
Yeah. I'm thinking positive
And
too.
I'm sending Mother Earth a lot of love and a lot of assistance.
Yeah. So which sort of brings us right into the show. If you kind of like to tell the friends who you are and sort of little background and.
Background. Well, I used to tell people I'm a body worker, but I'm a masseuse. I came from a long line of healers, my grandmother, my mother. Very strange people. It's so strange until my grandmother died 2 years ago, and she was 104.
My.
When she was 100 years old, she had a birthday. They gave her a birthday, and she says, I bet I'm the only person that ever had a birthday and a funeral at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that story, yeah.
So, strange people, yes.
No, I remember the story. Please continue with the story.
Yeah, she says, I believe in having my flowers now. And they did. They gave them to her. So when she passed, she didn't have anything to worry about. She'd lived her life.
Yeah, that's a wonderful philosophy.
Yeah. My mother was a different breed. Mama was more, I don't know, Mother was into, well, we each have our own different way of looking at things, because I'm different than my mother, a whole lot different, even from the rest of my family. But for me, being a very strange, interesting goddess, and I like to refer to that, and growing up, I was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what made me different. I was just strange. That was what I was called. I could be around people and I could touch them, and it would take the pain away. Just being with them, My great-grandmother was a midwife. She, too, did a lot of healing with people. Mother told me that doctors would bring people's babies to my grandmother that they could not, heal. So I came from a long line of very strange people.
Yeah, I did too, but strange is wonderful,
I know.
And it really is.
Someone told me, he said, not say strange, but say unique. And so I like that too, but I like the strangeness. I am a mother of 6, and how many years I've been married, I don't even want to
Yeah, neither do I.
You know,
Yeah,
that's a long time ago.
oh, yeah.
But I am the mother of 6, and um, I allow them to live their own life. I'm very far away from them. And what I really would like to talk about, though, is some of the work that I have done, or I would say instrumental and assist in others.
Well, what I was trying to do, and I'm very flexible, we're going to have fun, so we can flip it. So, see, what happens is some of us are born strange, and we can accept that. But some of the friends, they like to know how we finally realized that their strangeness is really how they fit into who we are now. So that's sort of what I was building up to.
Oh.
Because I knew I was weird. It took me many years before I found the purpose for that, you see. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know whether I ever found a purpose for it. It was just a way I was. You know, when I used to work, I would know things before they happened, but the people that I associate with at the time, they made me feel that, you know, more weirder than I was, and they didn't want to be around me.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
You know, and even my family, they'll say, "Mother, don't say one word."
Yeah.
You know, and so I came up stuffing it.
Yeah.
You know, and holding it down. Even to when I would see things, I would not want to see it, so I would close my eyes and just, you know, shut the doors. I did a very good job of that, too. In my family, we were a little, I think the word was a little trouble expressing themselves. All except my kids. They're very good they're very verbal. And also towards mother.
Yeah.
But
and so then there came a time. Now, when you kind of go off like that, the friends are familiar with that because they know some of the friends. We kind of have to go way back here to pick up something, so it's not that we're leaving, and they do know that.
Thank you for that.
Here it comes. So I try not to interfere with your flow, you know. But I just want to remind the friends that we do go over here somewhere and get the rest of the story.
You do. And also, you know, there's another thing too, which if I can share this, but a lot of people wonder what happened to them, those who have accidents.
Yeah.
And they're not in their bodies. One day I was walking and I was seeing where I was in a different way, and I hit this glass, and boy, that was what brought me back into my body. Sometime at night, you know, I get up, I think, well, I'm going to make me a cup of coffee. And I fall flat on the floor. I discovered I wasn't in my body.
We've talked about that. So now we have another coffee drinking person that crash lands. So we have talked about that. So some of us know what that means. Yeah.
And the strangeness in the nighttime, you know, I wake up, I go to bed early, but I wake up about 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up and I just start writing. I was told to write, you know. And I write to myself. I talk to this body, especially if it's not feeling too well or a little fatigue. I will just write, "Okay, Matisse," and my body will answer me. I will jump back when I was doing bodies. I teach people how to talk to their bodies.
I just learned how to do that, and we was laughing about that. I'm a firm believer in drinking the clustered water that we had discussed with the friends. And I've talked to many things, but never my body. And you know, now it says water, water, and I answer. So I know what that feels like.
I know, like sometime if you have a little pain here or you get stiff, you know, you just, "Okay, dear one, what's going on here now?" And for me, I send it a little love. And my body relaxes.
So the accident was sort of your wake-up point or your turning point?
Oh, which one?
I don't know.
I've had many accidents, not being in the body. However, now my body will remind me, slow down, Matisse, take it easy, because I can turn, and if I'm this way, I know I'm not in the body. I used to travel around with Barbara Marciniac. And
Really?
from 90 to 93.
A lot of the friends are familiar with Barbara because we have discussed her books on this program. Yes.
I traveled to Greece, Peru, Bali, and, around until I came to Washington. And I went to see a couple of times here. But anyway, we used to share a lot of information about the bodies and how when you can focus and when you leave your body, they would say make sure you return to the home station.
Exactly.
Okay. Because, and I make that an affirmation. Make sure you return to the home station. Also another little part, I teach people to talk to their angels too, which, I won't go there. Angels, I do believe is talking to the self. I believe that we all have a guardian angel. And I also believe that when we are learning, the focus is to lead us back to ourselves. I believe this is where we will find God. So that's why I teach people how to talk to their bodies. And the body is very intelligent.
It is, yes. Maybe I could get you to speak up a little bit. I'm not sure.
You can't hear me?
We finally have a different mic set up so I don't keep bumping into it. And I'm always worried that we don't talk loud enough.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have a little challenge at time, speaking out. So
you have a very, very low frequency voice. Which kind of Barbara Marciniac talks about frequencies, so...
Yeah. The tone, I think I learned that when I was doing bodies. And the body is, it's kind of like people that are not used to being touched. So you definitely have to use a low tone of voice. And what I will do is just touch them slowly. And you can feel the body relax, or otherwise it'll tense up. So my volume, I guess I'll just have to raise it if I can.
Just for a little while. We can go back to being the soft-spoken being that you are. There you go.
Okay. Where was I?
We were talking about your body work, how you teach people how to talk to their body and speak to the angels.
Yes, and when I'm working with them on their bodies, they would see their angel. They could speak to them. Also, if there's a part in their body where the body, okay, sometimes we have blockage here, we'll ask, okay, what is this all about? What message do you have for me? And I allow them to get that message. But what I would do in the beginning, always 3, because the first one is, a lot of people are not used to getting body work.
Yeah.
So that's getting you familiar with the body to touch. The second one, the body will say, well, can I trust you?
Yeah.
Okay, because the body, I look at the body as a child, and I, sort of give it permission to trust me. And by the touch, and I consider myself a very loving person, so when I touch, I pull in all the love that I can, and then when I do that body, then that's nothing but love. So whatever's going on within the body, it will answer the person if they ask. I don't ask for them. I had them to ask, to get in touch. Because now I am not doing body work. I do more mentally, emotional healing. much easier on my body too.
I did well, I didn't mean to, but when you're intuitive, occasionally we do act as medical intuitives. And there was a time where I would actually experience the pain that the people have, because I was a little clumsy with this whole thing. And then he again, and I've asked to be given a different way how to look at it without experiencing it. So now I can sort of see like a glass body and like a little light bulb, and then I just follow the light bulb and touch the parts of the body that I see lit up, and usually that's where it takes me, and then I can take that to the doctor or a person like you. So it is hard. Body work is very hard on us. I do know that.
Well, what I would do, I would know exactly where the blockage was because my body would tell me. And then when the person got through, they felt wonderful. But whatever pain they had, it was with me.
But you transferred it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I had to learn to release that.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoy working with people. I'm a people person.
Yeah. A people person. I consider myself that too. So I take it. You don't surf the internet too much?
No.
Yeah.
I have a challenge with the frequency.
Very good. And I can see why I did so much work with Barbara Marciniac, and she's the special person that we always make reference to when we talk about people that just fell out of the sky in the star seeds. And so we have done several shows on that subject, and frequencies are a challenge. But I'm a people person too. They can sort of be mistaken sometimes. Do you find that?
Well, as we move along in life, we do learn different ways of dealing with people, working with people. And, I learn now that if a person wants to work with me, they have to ask.
Yeah.
The old way was wanting to heal everyone and go, I want to make you well.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Exactly.
I also learned that people like to be miserable.
Wonder why? Yeah, that's very true. No.
I mean, if you're used to it, why take it away?
Well, I found that I need a certain amount of pain sometimes just to stay grounded. Because if I didn't have that, I would just probably float right out of here.
I go and eat meat.
You eat meat?
Yeah. I have this craving for meat when I need to ground myself.
Yeah, and I smoke tobacco for grounding also. When we set up the table, one of the things that we put up there is a picture of this goat. It's a mountain goat, and Mr. Kislavich from Canyon City, he is the photographer that every once in a while gives me opening shots and things. And one time I had talked about guides and goats and animal totems, and so he was nice enough to make this picture for me, take this photo. And I said to him, we get to these peaks and then I can really identify with the goat. We get so high, and then just as people try to catch up with us, we leap again. And then he said, and yeah, look, and you're shedding too. So, and then you had a goat story too. So would you like to share that with us?
Well, which mountain goat? Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn.
Ah,
so
no coincidence here then. Maybe it's yours. Yeah.
When I was in Greece, we went to there, and we went to one of the museum, and going in there, some of the pictures I could barely catch my breath.
Yeah, now I can't hear you.
I
I'm
could
sorry.
barely catch my
Your
breath.
breath.
And I discovered later that I had past lives there,
My.
you know, and also in Peru too. I remember I couldn't breathe, and the piece said once that, well, Matisse, what happened was, at one time, you were in an iron lung and they just squeezed the life out of you.
My.
And they had the rest of the group to assist me in popping out, you know. And once I did that, it was like the goat. I landed up there on this mountain and says, I'm free, I'm free.
Yeah.
And they tell me always to remember that. Anytime I feel stuck, you know.
Yeah.
The goat. Also, I was told that that goat represent Pam, but I've seen many pictures of Pam, and some I don't like, but I like that one, you know. Also, I have a lot of very interesting dreams, and in those, yeah, a lot of people have dreams of snakes, and the snake just came up and looked me dead in the face. And then I'd have to go and look up what snakes mean. But in the Christian church, you know, that represent the other side. So I won't go there either. But
there is a book called Animals Speak, and I think we all should have a copy of that. And that's where I usually get my information about.
Oh, yes.
About animals that appear. Yeah. You see, I was downtown yesterday to pick up some things for our set here, and there was am I going to say that by the heron? A heron, a bird? Well, I was just walking along, and I heard this bird yelling at me, and I looked up, it was a heron. And when I looked it up, it totally applied to what I needed to do for that day.
Wow. I lived out in the desert, and I used to go out, and I had a medicine wheel out there. And one day I went out to do a little ritual, and there was, I don't know whether they were eagle or what, because I don't know the difference, and they just did a circle around me 3 times, and then they left, and I thought, wow.
It's a wonderful feeling to be so connected, isn't it?
Walking out 2 times, the earth sort of opened up for me, and the love. Believe it or not, once it was in California, and I walked out, and it just seemed like things just opened up, and I started crying, and my comment was, I'm sorry. I am so sorry, you know, because I could feel all the neglect that I did to the earth.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sorry about what others did, but my neglect, you know. And then being out in the desert, I was walking out, and then it opened up again, such love. Out, and I seemed to be walking in a sort of a fog like, you know, that's why I made my medicine wheels up there. But it was wonderful. I am very connected to the earth.
We have a friend, her name is Electra Ann. She works with the grids of the earth, and she sort of explains some of those there, you know, how things are really changing for Mother Earth, and we really need to help.
I know, I'm aware of a lot of things. I don't have names to them. I try to stay out of that. I know that I do work with newborn babies before they come. I do know that.
Oh my!
And when I meet one, oh, you should see them. I mean, it's just like they just, hello, how are you again?
How are you?
Yes, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. But they get so excited. I know I do that.
Yeah.
You know, and there are other things that I know that I do. I guess that's why it's kind of hard for me to stay in the body at times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've acted as a death walker, and I also went to see one child before birth. And so it's really hard to explain. It's just something that you do. And then, like you say, when next time they see you, they recognize you.
They recognize.
In fact, this one child, this one particular child, he's very hyper and everything. And I'll just tell him, look, I'm the one that came to see you before you got here, and don't give me any grief. And he'll say, oh, okay. And he consciously remembers that. Mm-hmm.
They remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they remember. We are interesting beings, aren't we?
We are, yeah. And you know, if we're in that circle, you never know where you run into one another. And we've introduced the friends to people. They were born in Poland and on the other end of the earth, and we all end up here. You know, on this, on these visits. So I'm just in awe of the whole thing. And you ever get bored?
I don't remember getting bored because, you know, if I need to go someplace, you know, if I'm led to go, I will go. And it's like, you know, sometimes like one of the friend I met, she says, Matisse, when I first met you, she said, I was just so with you. And she says, next time I saw you, she said, you didn't even speak to me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, honey. You have to find out which one was in this body.
That's a good one. And that happens a lot.
Yeah, you know, I said, if I didn't see you, that meant I didn't recognize you at the time, you know.
Yeah.
She says, oh, and I says, next time you see me, and if I don't recognize, just remember, it's not Matisse, it's somebody else walking
Somebody
around.
else. I live simultaneously like that. So I can understand that. Yeah. And but to get back to Barbara Marciniac, I'm just so I didn't know that about you. I'm just so excited about that because she has such wonderful solutions how to work around some of the things that we talk about, you know, being able to stay in your body and deal with the frequencies. And there's a passage in there that says when you hear, when it's telling you to, it's time to move now, and you don't act on it, you can choose to do that, and then the next time it says get a moving truck. No, first it was the moving truck, and then it changes to a car. You can put your belongings in the back seat, because when you hear it the third time, you'd be lucky to get away with your life.
Yes.
So wonderful.
Being hard-headed, I've experienced that, you know. I haven't read the books because I was with him with a lot of the challenge sessions, so therefore, you know, I figured why read the books when
you live it,
when I was there with it, you know.
But you know, I wrote a book, and the moral of the story is one person at a time. See, we have visitors again. These are helicopters or something. But when I read it, now, keep in mind I wrote it, but when I read it, I said, oh, I knew that. And sometimes we have to read it before we can look at it instead of just experiencing it. So
yeah, the 3 ways of I learned 3 ways, you know, read it, see it, and then hear it. You know, yes. You know, I'll share one of my experiences with you.
Wonderful.
With Barbara when we were in Peru. You know, we went up to one of the sacred sites up there, and we were coming down dark, and there was this light, because in Peru, those mountains about like this, you got to really just, you know, look where you're going. So we had flashlight and thing, but this is at night. And there was this light shining down, all the way down. We come down, because it took us a couple hours. And I thought it was the van, you know, that was, and then I thought, how can that van light shine with it? Well, then I didn't think about it anymore until we got down, and then the light just moved away. And then it dawned upon me.
We all know what that was.
That's right.
Yeah, we did.
So that night in, you know, in the session, I thanked them. They said, you're welcome.
You're welcome, yeah. And you know, when you're in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden doesn't really matter who's accompanying you. It's a very comforting thought. I've
Yes, it
experienced
is.
that, and then later you feel so privileged. It's hard to explain that. It's I don't know what kind of emotion that is. It's just a knowing and grateful, and you feel part of it. And
You're full.
Wonderful.
Full, yes.
Yeah.
I went to Sedona with Barbara. You know, they did, you know how we, in the desert. And then the little beings kidnapped me.
Ah.
And I thought I wouldn't get back.
Yeah.
But then again, I saw, there was 2 cows standing over there, and I'd say, okay, guys, I know who you are. Help me to find my way out of here. And I did. I would be coming along, and then I'd start toning. That was for courage.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Yeah.
deep in the vortex there. But I was up near the mountain there, and I could feel that energy. Oh. Speaking of energy, did you feel the energy when the ancestors came in?
A few weeks ago when we recorded the other show, yes, I did. I wasn't going to say anything because, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. They just come right in, you know.
And sometimes we deliberately put things in the shows that's a little out of sequence or what appears to be a mistake. And one of the things is that keeps the pressure off of us to have to be perfect, because I don't want to be perfect, you know. But every once in a while we see something real tremendous, and then we'll ask the director, did you put that in here? And they'll say, no, we've never seen it before. So every once in a while we really pick up things.
You have a
like
little
that.
assistance there.
Assistance, yeah.
Yeah, wow. I had one of those, what you call, with the aura photography.
Killian photography.
And this was in 96, I believe it was. I'm not too good with dates.
Yeah.
But what came out on that, it was, I have to bring it so you can see it. It was a crescent moon.
Oh my, yeah. So if you let us share this with the friends, I took one and I had planets coming out of my head. That's not unusual. Oh, please let me borrow that.
Oh, okay.
And I am going to share that with the friends at another time.
Yeah, and a lot of very interesting incidents and things. I can't even remember them all, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to put them in sequence, you know.
Yeah. But, you know, when you look back on things, they really are in sequence, even though we don't know how they fit together. Yeah. I'm sure you have a story about your crystal here. No? Yes?
I have an amethyst one like this, and I was taking this class. I was living in Palmdale at the time, and first, though, I had a dream about this crystal that came, and then when I went back, you know, to my next class, I says, Donald, I had a dream about a purple crystal. Wasn't too much in it. He says, oh. And he went and got a few crystal and brought them back, and he says, which one of these you want? And, you know, I was kind of shocked, so I says, oh. So I just started feeling, and then I chose one, and I says, okay, let me, I'll take this and keep it for a week. He says, okay. So when I bought the crystal bag, and I says, Donald, I'm going to keep this, how much you want for it? So he says, well, what do you want to give me? And I don't like bartering like that. And I said, just give me a price. So he says, okay, what about $65? And I heard the crystal say, no way, offer him 50. And I says, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that was my first time knowing that crystal, you know, you can get information from crystals.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So he says, okay. And so I took it, and after that, that crystal had, you know, even the kids can talk to it. You know, so, and it was kind of large, and I used to, I asked what it wanted to be called, so it says, okay, call me Eric.
Mm-hmm.
So the name is Eric, and I says, Eric, you're so large. I have, is it okay if I cut you? He says, no way. I says, okay. So I used to carry around in my car.
Mm-hmm. So before I asked you the crystal question, the comment she had made was that sometimes you don't know how to fit, and then here I come off with a question out of left field, but it did fit there, you see?
It sure did.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's another, see, if I talk about strange things that's happened, I can deal with that. When I lived in New York, I had a little gremlin, and if you know anything about New York State, they're high, and
Yeah.
I just slid right off down the embankment, and the car stopped, and I'm thinking, oh my, now I'm going to have, and it was snow on the ground, now I'm going to have to call a tow truck to get me out of here. And something says, turn the motor on, and I did. It says, drive on back up, and I did. Believe me, I was shocked, but I did exactly what was told to me, and I went on to work. And I still, it was like, did that happen? So those kind of interesting things that...
They are. Monica, our friend up in Alaska, we had put that on one of the shows. We were driving my cropper, that's the RV, and it sounded like the engine had just fell out of everything. And so we heard this voice say, nothing wrong with it, just keep going. We got right back in it, and never anything happened after that. And so sometimes I think it just tests, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because we can just take the logic and totally throw that away because it's not going to work. So I don't have a problem with understanding or believing that you drove up straight back up this way, because I don't have a problem with that at all. And then while you were in Peru, I'm sure that you might have...
Peru, Lake Titicaca.
Yeah.
We were out
Strange
on the
things.
water, rocking. That is one of the most beautiful experiences, to be out on the boat in the middle of nowhere and that ocean, Sitting out there, I just cried because it was mountain on this side, mountain on that side. And there was a feeling of, I don't know, it was a feeling like I was home. And I could feel the mountains, sort of welcome me, and I just sat there and cried. So it was a very good experience.
If you could make any changes in your life, would you?
At the moment? One of the things I think about that I'd like to be a little different than I am at times, which I'd like to know where I'm going. I'd like to not walk into walls and things.
I know what that feels like.
Okay. But then again, I think that's still part of me. I don't know. As I grow, I think that I like just being me. I don't want to change who I am at this point in time. I worked too hard to get here.
To get there, yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, like when you talk about getting out of your body and running into things, I'm very familiar with that. And then one day I realized that I was a spiritual being in a body. And that's why sometimes we don't take care of it, because we're so beautiful on the inside. We just sort of, I have friends who just in my pajama. But you know what? Nobody said, why are you in your pajama, Lillian? Because I just projected I was so beautiful, or else they thought I was totally crazy, which is okay, in which case they leave you alone anyway. So we're just beautiful regardless which way we're walking, yeah.
I don't think my family thinks too much of that, though.
We have our moments, yeah, but that's okay.
But families have you in a special mode, You're supposed to be I used to say I was my mother's daughter, my husband's wife, and my kid's mother. And I had to find out who I was, and that wasn't easy. Because those identities I knew well,
Hmm.
but coming back, finding out who I was.
So if you had to advise or share with the friends a way how to do just that, what would you tell them?
Stay in the moment.
Ah.
Become very familiar with their
Mm-hmm.
body. Very, the body, the spirit within the body is so loving.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you're going to find anyone else that'll love you as much as you can love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Love the spirit within you. And when you feel that, you can share that with others.
Mm-hmm.
But first you got to love yourself.
Love yourself, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I would share.
You find that you have a hard time sticking with schedules, I do?
I was given a day timer to keep,
Mm-hmm.
schedule, and I lose days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a friend that I said, would you please, if there's something really important, would you please call and remind me
What day it is.
what day it is?
Mm-hmm.
And they used to do that, Matisse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know you're supposed to do certain thing? Oh, nope, just hold it there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a chiropractor that I go to, and I forget. So they
That's
call
right.
me, Matisse,
Yeah.
you have an appointment at such and such a time. So, I see that as my beloved spirit working with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we're all connected.
We are. Mm-hmm.
And as we're connected, what I want for myself, I want for others.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do for others, others do for me.
Yeah. When we do live these universal lives, my problem sometimes is I forget that I'm in a three-dimensional world. And I'm totally brilliant over here. And in the three-dimensional, I'm just not doing so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just not. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is a funny little tidbit I can share with the friends. The carper was up at Valve's Thriftway the other day, sitting in the middle of the parking lot, and a lady ran over it. I mean, she hit it. Now, the crop is a 23-foot RV with the crop circles on it, and she said she didn't see it.
I can understand.
And maybe she didn't.
No, she didn't. I can definitely understand that. The same way I walked into the wall, I didn't see it. I saw something else. A very strange thing, another one that happened to me when I lived in California. My whole car was taken to another place. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, how am I going to get myself back to where I belong? I had to sit there and say, okay, you brought me here, take me back.
We went to see a friend of mine and myself. We went to Seattle just a few weeks ago, and she's learning. She's really learning. And we was on 99 going one way, and then we were going 99 the other way, and of course we noticed it, and we don't know how we got turned around, but sometimes we have people with us when that happens. And that's why we know we're not crazy. Yeah. So it's lots of times, in fact, we did a whole show on jumping time, stepping in and out of time.
Yes.
And when you have 2-3 people experiencing the
Same
same thing and talk about it while it's happening, and I think we can just access we tap into parts of consciousness, universal consciousness, and just find ourselves somewhere else.
I feel that sometimes we're in two dimensions, and I have to stop at times and say, okay, now where am I? And I know a lot of people are going through this because I watch them, and I'll start laughing a lot of times. Oh, I'm not the only one going through
Not the only
this.
one. It is happening all the time now. I had asked you for your definition of the word vessel. Do you remember how you answered that?
Well, how did I answer that? I don't. Vehicle,
That's right.
conduit.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we are. And that's why you wanted to talk about that. We are just a means to get something or somebody from here to here to here. You know, whether it's a crystal or a person or an animal or and so it's you ever wonder what you'd be doing if you wasn't a vessel?
I feel that I came here to do exactly what I'm doing. So at this point, and a lot of my programming is dropping away.
Yeah.
And at this point in time now, I don't know who I am. And that's good. I will pull into sometime. I am the kid's mother, because a part of them will lock in. But who I was before, I sort of lose that, and I do have to just stop. And sometimes I'll go look in the mirror to see who it is that I am.
Yeah.
And for a long time I've been afraid to discuss this because afraid of people thinking that was crazy, since I was brought up being odd, and that was what I was called, However, now to be unique is just wonderful.
It's just wonderful, and when we are free with ourselves to discuss that, and there's always one person that we can touch.
Ah, yes.
This woman named Tammy Bauer and myself, we went on a really quick trip to Colorado here, just very recently, and we talked about that on that show too. We were gone 15 days, and 15 people touched us that we know of. Now, but we were around hundreds of people, so it's just like the beat of a drum. Each beat of a drum, it multiplies by 10, and so on and so on. And by you being free and willing to share your story, I personally know at least 3 people that say, I thought that was just a Lillian thing, they call it, when they don't know what to do with it. They want to give it to me, so I'm very happy to hand it to you now, so you have met another person. How do you explain that sometimes?
Well, we go back and say we're just a conduit, and I am so sensitive to other people that, I can look, and a part of me will say, it's like reading the energy. And when I see someone else is not in their body, I would go over and just say hello and just touch them.
Just push them back in.
No, just touch them, because there's something about touching them, and because if you're touched, you're going to stop and look around. Your body's reacting. So I'll just touch them, and then I can just feel them sliding back in.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I remember someone told me, he said, if you don't start staying in your body, anybody can come in and set up housekeeping. And I thought about that. I said, okay. So when I'm not there, I says, okay, I don't have to worry about that.
Our friend Beverly, she purchased this crystal with the eagle. That's what she chose, and I really like that, because when we soar like eagles, we sort of overlook things without really being with our feet on the ground,
That's her totem too, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And life is so wonderful. I would never want to go back.
No, I wouldn't want to do any different than I'm doing now.
And Strange is wonderful. Strange is wonderful. And again, we might as well recommend Barbara Marciniac's books. One is Bringers of the Dawn, and the other is called Earth, and it has really good explanations, guidance, and lessons how to get through this interdimensional back and forth that we're doing, and she is really, really helpful. And these are Palladian teachings.
Yeah, and to know that we made an agreement to come and do this.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah,
I don't remember mine, and I'm thinking, wow, did I really do this?
What I came out, I said, I had to be out of my cotton picking mind.
My thought, exactly, yeah. Because our path is not easy.
No.
No, it's very, very hard.
Another thing, though, I would like to share with people the monitor thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because, boy, right now we can create something so quickly, create something we don't want.
Yeah, it is.
And I've experienced that, by not being aware of what I was thinking. And I'm looking at them and says, okay, that wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
So really be conscious of what they're thinking. And I feel that if I encounter a confusion situation, is because in my thinking process I was confused at that time, And once I'm clear, I can create clarity.
Are you familiar with a writer by the name of Lapsang Rampa? He was a Tibetan monk. He wrote 19 books.
Oh yes, I know of him.
Of him, yeah. He addressed a lot of things like that, and he also had lots of good ideas and good counsel for people when we do get into these, into these interdimensional jams. And he made reference to that we have to be clear and not have blockages, or else there's no telling where we end up at.
Yeah. And it's so important now to be in your body, to feel though, the feeling is important. Because I know a lot of time when I'm swinging up there, I can get in a lot of trouble because I'm not in the body, and the body's not telling me, okay, kid, you better watch it.
That's it, yeah.
So I really do have to become friends with your body.
So have you signed on for the new millennium? I have.
Sign on? Oh, I was told that I sign up for a lot of work, and that I jokingly share with people that I was not going to get old. I was going to grow younger, and that I was never going to die. I was going to just, when it's my time, I'm going to sit in the chariot.
Yeah, there you go.
However, there is a lot of work to do, and my fading in and out, I tell people, listen, it's just a matter of the Creator shaking loose a lot of that old program that I had, and that they can't do it all at once, because once we're connected, I don't have to worry about that.
That's right.
So, and I think I halfway believe that too, because that was my comment for, if I'm talking and, I fade out, and it's just, wait a minute, the computer, give it a little moment and it'll come back, and
It'll come back. Yeah.
So it sounds reasonable, don't it?
Yeah, it is, because we really do exist in two planes, and it's not an easy task, but we manage, and if you just, bear with us and give us a chance to go over here and get it, and we have a lot to teach the young ones, and they teach us a lot.
Ah, yes. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter that reminded me of something. How we family like, oh, this is your grandmother, go say hello. And she just stood and she looked at me. And she wouldn't say one word. And I said, wow, that kid is reading energy.
Yeah. Oh, we did a show called Indigo, some of the things that these new children do, and we're really fortunate that we are recognizing that, because some of us wasn't really great as mothers because we were still growing ourselves,
And working so hard.
Yeah, and now we're learning from the new ones.
I know someone said, it's too bad that we weren't given a set of instructions when we became mothers.
Maybe we were just busy being somewhere else and misplaced it. So now, what do you think of that?
No, I think we had to learn. And I generally tell my kids, listen, you chose me, I didn't choose you. So
is that working for you?
No, it do.
It's not working for me.
Oh,
So,
yeah, and I go on. I just remember, I'm the mother. And I always tell them, don't fool around with Mother Nature.
wow.
Yeah. So, but I have one son that he says, Mother, because I tell him, to stop trying to play with my head. He says, Mother, don't take my pleasure away from me.
Ah, yeah.
He enjoys playing with my head. And I says, well, I don't mind. See, I wouldn't mind it if I was in my body all the time when he's doing this. But when I'm not home and he do that, then I get a little annoyed.
Yeah.
And I think he knows when I'm not home.
Yes, they do know things like that. Now, it goes back to the Sumerians and the Egyptians, and what you said you chose me, they really knew who their children was, and the children knew who their parents was going to be. So that's not really far-fetched.
Now, my mother, I took care of my mother when she was ill. And my mother was a church-going person. And she said she wanted to die in church. So in order to keep her home, I would go to church for her. I'd take a tape recorder so I could take the service. But when I would get in the church, the people would speak to me like they were speaking to my mother.
My.
And I would say, and I look nothing like my mother. And it took me a while before I found my mother had took over my body, and she hadn't left her body yet.
She did, yeah. We sort of out of time, and it was a wonderful visit we had. And the next time you come to Olympia, on a spur of the moment, we will do this again. And I really thank you for sharing this with the friends. And here's for all the frequency people, just know that there's many of us out of here like that. Until next week, thank you for coming, Matisse.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll do that again. Bye.